bland and toned. Love? He wanted no part of it. Lust, however, was a welcome old friend. His mind churning on a plan, he braced his hands on his hips and debated how to approach her. Her gaze swung around. Brady sucked in a breath. He would have thought those green eyes the most beautiful he'd ever seen, if they hadn't been glassy with tears. She blinked and looked away. His brain shifted gears, and he walked toward her before he'd even thought to do it, concern a growing weight on his chest, and anger at whoever hurt her searing his gut. Neither made any sense, really, but he never could stand to see a girl cry. Hell, that instinct went way back. "Hey, you all right?" She cast him a sidelong glance. "Peachy, thanks." What's the attitude for? Caught off guard by the sarcasm in her tone, he dragged a hand through his hair and noticed hers had pink highlights mixed in with the rich brown. Look. Her grip tightened around her knees. "I appreciate the Good Samaritan routine and all, but I'm not looking for a hero today. Capiche?" The hard edge to her tone was full of stubbornness and challenge. So much for trying to be the good guy. Capiche? Seriously? Did we just step into The Godfather and I didn't know it? She rose in one fluid movement and brushed at the thin, colorful skirt, a wristful of bracelets jingling as she moved. A cascade of stars tattooed the skin behind a heavily pierced ear. And what's wrong with The Godfather? It's one of the top 10 movies of all time. He drank in all her details, assessing and weighing her as if she were any other adversary he'd determined to figure out. About his age, he'd guess. "You like The Godfather?" Standing on the edge of her blanket, she gave him a once-over that made his bare skin go hot. "Yeah? And what of it, sailor?" He narrowed his gaze, his internal temperature kicking up another few degrees. "I got no beef with The Godfather, but I'm not a sailor." Fucking A. He couldn't tell if they were fighting or flirting, but these running shorts were about to make it crystal clear his body believed it was the latter. She shook her head and looked at him, all hint of those tears long gone, the bright green of her eyes still stunning. In bare feet, she stepped into the grass and closed the 4-foot gap between them. Brady's gaze was torn between watching her curvy body move and reading the ink that decorated the side of her foot. Her body won out, the way the thin cotton shirt shaped around her full breasts capturing his attention. She stopped in front of him, and his body went on alert, shoulders tense and muscles tight, not out of fear, but out of anticipation. The tats, the piercings, the hard wariness in her gaze, and the challenging tilt to her chin gave her a tough edge that was just shy of beautiful. But man, he was more than sold. She flicked at his ID tags with her fingers and arched a brow. "I can see that." The Army was the only service that didn't spell out its acronym on the tags. Someone knew her military trivia, a fact that made her equal parts more interesting and more annoying. "Which is why you said it." She licked her lips. "Now you're getting the picture." Jesus, her tongue was pierced. Could this chick get any hotter? He wanted to pull her in and see if that mouth tasted as sweet as it looked. And bonus that it would cut off the stream of sarcasm she'd been dishing out. He tucked his hands in his pockets and chuffed out a humorless laugh. "Why are you messing with me?" She pressed those ruby reds together, turning the smile he could have sworn she'd almost given him into a smirk. "Because you're an easy target." "I'm an easy target? I think you have me confused with some other squid." 5 years in the Army Special Forces, and Brady hadn't suffered a single injury. An easy target was the last thing he was. Not all his buddies had been so lucky, though. Like his best friend, Marco. A good guy through and through, and yet he'd been injured so severely he'd been medically discharged and still struggled with his recovery. All while someone like Brady got off without a scratch. How fucking fair was that? His fists curled and he clamped down on the anger his thoughts.